Okay, let's take up this topic, which is regain lost customers, right? So today we're going to talk on how do you regain lost customers. And before I move forward, I just want to confirm whether my audio and visual is coming fine. So could you just go to the chat box and write a yes there if my audio and visual is coming fine? All right. So Sarvesh, Abhishek, thank you so much. Ajay Agarwal, thank you so much. Fantastic. So the topic is all set for today, regain lost customers. And as people are still trickling in to join, let us have a fair idea of what we are talking about today. Uh, when we say that we want to regain lost customers, what are we trying to say? Are we trying to say that we want customers to uh, start giving you order even if they are not interested in giving you order? Or are we trying to say that we want customer to start looking positively at you today because you are slightly different than your predecessor? Well, those are some of the nuances that we will try and understand in today's program. So right at the beginning, my first slide to you is, let us try and understand, why do we lose customers in the first instance? And with my 38 years of career in sales, I can pinpoint 3 boxes under which normally a sales manager would lose a customer. So let's look at the primary reason why we lose customers one by one. So the first reason that we lose customer is because of poor engagement. And what do I mean by poor engagement? You see, once you acquire a customer and you start supplying goods to the customer, first supply, second supply, third supply, and both of you kind of become comfortable with each other. And then slowly your focus starts, you start focusing more on new customer acquisition, whereas the old customers slowly start getting neglected. When I say neglected, I do not mean that you would not answer their phone calls. I do not mean that you would not respond positively to them. What I mean is that there is no proactive initiative from your side to stay in touch with the customer. Definitely, if the customer wants to get in touch with you, you are there, you pick up their phone, you answer their calls, you respond to every small stimulus that they give to you, but you don't proactively meet them. And that's what I mean by poor engagement. Now, poor engagement, we mean that you don't remember your customers, you don't have any kind of loyalty program through which you can remember your customers, and definitely you don't have any kind of CRM utility through which you could automate this process of remembering your customer. And this is very serious. You know, there is one research which shows that as high as 48% customers, they leave you not because your service was bad, or not because your product was bad, or not because your company was bad. They just leave you because you did not remember them. बहुत बहुत विचित्र सी बात है दोस्तों, लेकिन ये this has been proven through management research that as high as 48% customers they leave you because you never bothered to get in touch with the customer, you never bothered to stay in link with the customer, and definitely you did not bother to proactively go and meet the customer. You definitely met them reactively. So whenever they called you, you met them. So that's point number one. The second point, and this is again very interesting, is what we call customer fatigue. There are many a times when the customer gets fatigued, he gets tired. He just gets tired of a supplier who is continuously supplying him a particular quality, or who is continuously, status quo. So people who get into status quo, they get bored of it. Now, here the question is not that whether what you're supplying is good or bad, or the service is good or bad. No. If you do not have innovation, if you do not have fresh thinking, if you do not keep on bringing something new to the table of the customer, by default, there is a customer fatigue. And this is what we call moment of inertia of motion and moment of inertia of rest. So this is a law in physics, but then this is very much applicable to customer. So any customer who continues in a state of status quo for a longer period of time, even if the status quo is a good status quo, he still gets into fatigue. And this phenomena is what we call lapsation. So lapsation is a process through which some customers will leave you, not because your product is bad or your quality is bad or your service is bad, but they have gone into a fatigue. Now, the obvious question is that how do you get over this fatigue, or how do you ensure that the customer does not get into a fatigue? Well, we will talk about all that as we move on today. And the third box, of course, is poor service. So normally when we talk about losing customers, we normally feel that primarily we lose customers because of bad product or bad service or bad pricing. But research has shown that only 12% customers leave you because of poor service or poor product or poor price. Now, this 12% can change between 6 to 12% depending on the industry that you are into, but you can just take thumb rule figures for the moment. So what does this teach you? It teaches you that as high as 48% people leave you because of poor engagement, 12% people leave you because of poor service, and 40% people leave you because of customer fatigue. So when today's topic is how to regain lost customers, and to get into the science behind how to regain lost customers, I thought that it is pertinent to first understand why do we lose customers in the first place. And this analysis shows that only 12% customers are lost because of poor service or poor product or poor price. So if 88% customers are not lost because of reasons other than product or price or service, then I think this is a management concern which we must address and minimize the number of customers that we lose over a period of time. Now, having said that, and to that extent, I'm sure all of us are making our best efforts in trying to do it. But having said that, and before moving forward, I just want a quick feedback from all of you on the chat box. Do you agree to these figures? Do you agree that poor engagement leads to 48% customer loss? Do you agree to this? Do you agree to this that poor service leads to only 12% customer loss? And do you agree to this that customer fatigue is responsible for 40% customer loss? I've just put it in the chat box. And can you please confirm that to me, that do you agree with me on these numbers? Do you agree with me on these numbers? I've just put it on the chat box. Just put a yes or no so that I understand that you're all with me. All right. Okay. All right. Yes. Oh, I'm not getting a response. Do you agree with me that these are the primary reasons for your customer loss?
Sir, I am not able to reply you.
Chat is disabled.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So taking this forward, the question here is that why should we make an effort to win back old customers? Why? And the reason here is that it is 5 times more expensive to acquire new customers. If the cost of acquiring a new customer is 100 rupees, the cost of retaining an old customer is only 20 rupees. So even in terms of economics, even in terms of profitability, it makes a lot of sense to win back old customers. Second is that 2% increase in customer retention is equivalent to decreasing your company cost by 10%. Just remember these figures, that if you are able to increase your customer retention by only 2%, it actually brings down your cost of production by 10%. And 5% reduction in customer defection can enhance your profitability by 25% minimum. It can go to 125% depending on the product and industry, but minimum 25%. तो 5 गुना ज्यादा महंगा है नया कस्टमर एक्वायर करना. सिर्फ only 2% increase in customer retention will decrease your cost by 10%, and 5% reduction in defection will increase your profitability by 25%. Now, any one of you who understands mathematics and any one of you who understands economics, I'm sure this is a win-win scenario, and I'm sure each one of you will vote for winning back customers, right? So winning back customers, WBC. Can you please write for me WBC on the chat box so that I know that you're all with me? Winning back customers, WBC.
Sir, could you please enable chat box?
All right, I'm waiting. Okay. It seems that, okay.
The
I have
chat box
enhanced
is
the
not
chat
enabled.
box now so you can
Disabled.
reply. I was wondering that why none of you are replying. All right. So WBC, yes, that's the fastest finger from Amravati Management Association. Thank you so much. So winning back customers is what everyone is agreeing to, right? Okay, fantastic, good. Let's look at this cycle. What do we have to do when we are talking about winning back customers? What is it that I'm trying to do? Step number 1, I'm trying to scrutinize the losses. See, there are so many times that we have lost a customer, because my owner says ki nahi padvarta, and this is not something that fulfills my bottom line, so I'm not interested in doing it. And many a times my company management will say that, no, this is not worth it. Leave this order. I don't want to do it. But as a sales manager, you have to understand at some point of time that if you are able to give a cost benefit analysis to your management, that by losing these customers, you're not only losing X tons of supply or Y rupees of profitability, but there are so many other things that you lose. Now, I have found that generally sales managers, I have found that they are not good in creating this trade-off analysis. I call it trade-off analysis, or so I find that people are not good in this trade-off analysis. Let me just write it for you in the chat box so that you can make a note of it. So trade-off analysis is what I'm expecting the managers to do. Now, what is trade-off analysis? Trade-off analysis is a accumulation of all the opportunity losses that you are going to incur by losing a customer. It is not only a matter of losing a few tons of supply or losing a few rupees as profitability. There are so many things that you lose. You lose a relationship which you have built over all this time. You lose the opportunity of interacting with the customer for further cross-selling, reference selling, upselling. You lose the opportunity of allowing a competitor to create a new relationship with someone with whom you already have an existing relationship. You lose the opportunity to grow with the customer. You lose the opportunity to evolve further business with the customer, and so on and so forth. So if you know how to do a good trade-off analysis, I'm sure the ease with which your management tells you, no, I can lose this customer today, will not be the same. So please understand, The first point is scrutinize losses, create a trade-off analysis, submit it to management that what is the overall loss that you're going to incur by losing this customer. Then second point, which is very important, is take responsibility. I mean, a lot of times I have seen that when there is a quality complaint or when there is an issue from the customer side, normally I have seen that manufacturers try to become advocates. They become lawyers, and then they try to say that, no, my factory is not wrong. I am not wrong. Because somewhere they have a fear that if it is proven that the manufacturer is wrong, they might be forced to pay some penalties. Well, that is just one side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. What you need to understand is that whenever there is a point where we are to lose a customer, I have to deal with the entire scenario very responsibly. I cannot look at a loss only mathematically. So I have to look at the mathematical aspects of losses. Along with that, I have to look at the social aspect of loss, the political aspect of loss, the economic aspect of loss, the legal aspect of loss. So there is a whole scenario of opportunity assessment, and I call this pestle analysis. So whenever you are doing a trade-off analysis, just try and do a pestle analysis. And what is a pestle analysis? Pestle is an acronym for political, economic, social, technology, environment, and legal. So when you look at pestle aspects of a loss, you are said to be behaving responsibly. And having behaved responsibly, then you have to make up with an offer because you are trying to win back a customer. So why should a customer come back to you unless you make an offer? You cannot just go to a customer and say that, hey, मैं बदल गया हूँ, जो भी गलती हुई थी मेरे predecessor से हुई थी, and now I'm quite good, I'm a new person, I'm a changed man, and I don't think I'm going to cause any problem to you. So why don't you restart with me? Well, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So मतलब देखिए ना, घर में एक छोटा बच्चा अगर रोता है तो उसको फुसलाने के लिए हम एक लेमन जूस देते हैं उसको, we give a chocolate. So some offer has to be given to win back a customer. And when I'm making this statement, do I mean that I have to give an offer for a discount, or do I have to give an offer for something free? No, not necessarily. But then what is important is some offer has to be given. And as we move along, we will discuss what are the novel ways of extending offers to the customer where you need not necessarily pay from your pocket. And the fourth and very important aspect of this circle is follow up 7 times. You see, when you're trying to win back a customer, you can't just go once to the customer and give your presentation, and if the customer does not agree, you come back and report to your management that, sir, I have tried, this customer is very stubborn and this customer is not at all interested in coming back, so let us forget about him. No, it will not work like that. The law says that you got to follow up with a lost customer at least 7 number of times. So keep a track of it, whichever way you're maintaining your sales MIS. Keep a track of how whether you have followed up 7 times or not. And the golden rule there is that every time you go for a follow-up with a lost customer, you must try and deliver a new value on his table. So deliver a new value to the lost customer in each of your 7 follow-ups. I'm just putting it in the chat box. Now that's very interesting, that every time you go to follow up for a customer, deliver a value. And what do I mean by delivering a value? Well, you talk about a new benefit that you can incur to the customer, due to which the customer is going to gain out of it. So that program is well set, and this circle that you can see on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, is known as the customer service recovery. We call it customer service recovery. So I'm just putting it in the chat box for you. customer service recovery. If you have understood the customer service recovery circle, can you please put CSR on the chat box so that I know that we're all together? Can you just put CSR on the chat box? All right, fantastic. Abhishek, Sanjay Agarwal, Amravati, Sarvesh. All right, fantastic. Good. Very nice. Very nice. So you have understood the customer service recovery cycle, scrutinize losses, take responsibility, make up with an offer, and 7 times follow up. 7 times follow up. Now, this is a customer service recovery cycle. Okay, very good. Now let's look at certain win back programs. Because as I told you that just by thinking that you want to regain lost customers, no magic is going to happen. Or just by telling to yourself that from tomorrow I'm going to get back all the customers that I have lost, again, no magic is going to happen. So when you're trying to win back your old customers, you have to create a program. You have to think about it. You have to create a program. At this juncture, let me share some important points in the yellow box with you. First, of course, and this does not need any proving, win back is worth it. It is always worthwhile to win back old customers. Why? I have already told you 3 reasons for which you should do it. The first reason was, let me just quickly go back there. The first reason was 5 times more expensive to create new customers. Only 2% increase in customer retention will decrease your cost by 10%, and 5% reduction in customer defection will increase your profitability by 25% minimum. So it's worth it. It's worth it. So when you create a win-back program, always keep those statistics in your mind. The next point is focus on the best lost customers. You know, many a times I have worked very closely with sales managers. And when I say that let's start working on regaining old customers, the sales manager says that, okay, let me bring out the most difficult customer for this person because he's trying to prove that he can win back old customers. So let me make this process very difficult for him. Let me bring out the most stubborn case. Let me bring out the most useless case so that this person who is claiming that he can win back old customers is going to fail. Now, this is not the right attitude, isn't it? Because whom are you trying to prove? Is it not that you're trying to prove yourself, whether you can win back old customers or not? So please sack up your attitude there and don't get into that conundrum where you're trying to make life difficult for the person who is trying to make your life easier by helping you regain lost customers. So focus on the best lost customers. You know, all of us have got X number of customers whom we have lost. And between you and me, all of us know for sure that some of you have customers who are very sticky, and you also have some lost customers where slight tweaking here and there can bring them back. So try to prioritize, try to optimize a list कि कहाँ से चालू करना है. Because if you start with the most difficult customers to win back, you might get frustrated. You might find it a very fruitless exercise, and this is not a good way to go. All right, point taken. The third point is each lost customer has left you for different reasons. You know, it's not one reason for which a customer leaves you. Each one of them leaves you for a different reason, and you need to charter the different reasons for which customer has left. There is a concept of automated win back programs. So you can actually automate a flowchart for winning back your programs. And the last point is always measure the success of your win back programs. So do not talk in the air. Always ask yourself, what percentage of lost customers have I been able to reactivate? So those are some of the small points of win back programs. Can I see on the chat box WBP, which is win back programs? Can I see that on the chat box, please? WBP, win back programs. All right, very good. Thank you so much. All right, cool, wonderful. going forward, when you're trying to win back old customers, you see, these are the 4 reasons for which customers leave you. Some customers leave you because they found you too expensive. Some leave you because they find your product hard to understand. Some leave you because they see limitations in your product and they feel that technically you're not competent to provide the right product. And some people leave you because of poor customer service. And as I told you earlier, the percentage of people who leave you because of poor customer service is less, and the percentage of people who leave you otherwise is high. Now, if you see in the second column, the smiling faces, they change. What I'm trying to denote here is the most difficult customer to win back are those who have left because of poor customer service. The second most difficult customer to win back are those who have left because of poor product limitations. They feel that you do not have the technical capability to provide the right product. The third most difficult customers is product hard to understand. And the easiest customer to win back are those who left you because of cost. I will be sharing this PowerPoint presentation with you. And if you go through the third and fourth column, it will give you a deeper insight into what we are trying to talk about. If you have understood this part of it, so let's look at customers who have left as they found your product expensive. Let us zoom into each of those reasons for which a customer leaves us and try and understand as to what exactly are we required to do to circumvent this problem. Now, if you're looking at it, customers who left as they found your product expensive, well, we have discussed it umpteen number of times before that if you are selling price, you will always lose more customers than you gain. If you are selling value, you will always gain more customers. So what are we looking at here? We are looking at increasing the price value ratio. If you do not really want to lose customers on the basis of price, you have to consciously increase the price value ratio. Simply put, what I'm trying to indicate here is that can you show that your product is offering more to the customer for lesser amount of money? That's what I call price value ratio. So price keeps on coming down and value keeps on going up. That's what I call price value ratio. Now, how do you increase the price value ratio? Well, and let me put this question to all of you in the chat box, that how do you increase the price value ratio? What do you do? What is the tool that you make use of? So how to increase price value ratio? What will you do to increase price value ratio? I put that question in the chat box. The sound is muted for all of you. So can you please write your answers on the chat box? How do you think you're going to increase the price value ratio? Is it by decreasing the price? Or is it by increasing the value for the same price? Those are the only 2 options for you. So those of you who try to decrease the price in order to get a price value ratio, very soon lose their job or very soon get into the hate list of the owner. So Sanjay Agarwal says by increasing value of the product, and I fully agree with you. So, but my question still remains that how do you increase value of the product? What do you do to increase value of the product? What exactly do you do to increase value of the product? Well, all of you need to understand that for increasing the value of the product, there is something called FAB chart, which is feature, advantage, and benefit. So if you want to increase the value of the product, then you have to consciously make use of the FAB chart in your sales process. And you have to continuously talk to the customer about the benefits rather than talking to the customer about the corresponding advantages and features. If you have understood that, so please write FAB is direct. So FAB is directly proportional. Yeah, directly proportional to price value ratio, right? Which means that the more benefits you are able to talk to the customer, the better value seller that you are. And that's how you do a great job. So if you have understood this, then there is no reason for you to lose any customer on the basis of price, because every time the customer talks price, you need to talk value. Now, I fully understand that there are some customers who would ensure that even if you give a great price, or even if you give a great value, they will still crib on the price. Now, that's a different problem altogether, and there is a different way to handle that problem. But at this juncture, you need to understand that the only methodology to not lose a customer on price is to able to show him that you offer a value which is much more than the price decrease that he's talking about. And this calculation is very mathematical, my friends. It's not a download of grammar, or it's not glib talking, or it's not about talking. It's mathematical. So let's assume that I'm selling a product for 10 rupees a kilo, and the customer is wanting the product for 9 rupees a kilo. And if he is going to use 100 kilo in a month, so by decreasing 1 rupee per kilo, he's going to get a discount of 100 rupees. Now, if there is some methodology through which I can show some benefits of my product, through which he is gaining more than 100 rupees, let's say I'm able to show a gain of 1,000 rupees by virtue of the benefits of my product, then I have all chances to talk to the customer that, hey, you are asking me for a discount of 100 rupees, and here I'm giving you a value of 1,000 rupees. Now, you can also think that in this competitive market, my competitor is also giving all the values that I'm giving, and yet my competitor is offering a lesser price. Now, this is a scenario which you cannot win just by doing value selling, because probably your competitor is also offering the very same values that you are offering. What do you do in such a scenario? Well, if the values offered are same and you don't want to go down on price, so we will come to the next screen. Customers who left due to product limitation. What do we do here? We increase the product value ratio. You see, in the first case, we increase the price value ratio. When the values are same in two case studies, and then there is no option left to you to increase the value. So what I do is I now start looking at product value ratio. And what is the difference between price value and product value? Well, in price value ratio, we talk about performance. And in product value ratio, we talk about productivity. And productivity is more to do with yield, and performance is more to do with overall effectiveness. Now, this might sound like a class in English where I'm trying to play with the words like productivity, performance, effectiveness, efficiency. Well, I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to show you is that the concept of product value ratio means that you speak about certain functionalities of your product which leads to the value. So let me give you an example. Since many of you in the program today belong to the master batch industry, let me give you an example from the master batch industry. So if you are selling a colored master batch, and if two competitors are giving the same value, apparently, which means that you have already ensured that you're comparing an apple with an apple and not comparing an apple with an orange. So if both parties are giving the same value, then I get into the product aspect or functionality of my product. So what could be a product functionality of a colored master batch? and what could be a benefit functionality. We spoke about price value ratio and product value ratio. So when I'm talking of a product value ratio, I'm going to emphasize on the quality of titanium dioxide used in my UV or in my master batch, in my white master batch, because of which the UV protection is going to be better, because of which the final product of the customer is better, because of which the final product of the customer is going to fetch a better selling price in the market. Do you understand what I mean by product value ratio? If you understand what I mean by product value ratio, please go to the chat box and write yes, because it is very important to understand the difference between price value and product value. So I find a question there from Abhishek. How can we deal with the customer who tell us that quality is same like you, or why should I pay you more? Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about right now, Abhishek. I'm talking about two cases where the values provided by both competitors are same. So if the price value ratio is not working in your favor, then come to the second point, that is product value ratio. All right, thank you so much. So many of you have confirmed that you have understood the difference between price value and product value ratio, which is really cool. Now, let me quickly move on to the next slide, which is service value ratio. Because there can only be three stages when you're trying to regain old customer. The first stage is that you are providing a better valuable product and you do value selling and you win back the customer. The second scenario is that you are providing as much value apparently as your competitor. So you go and move on to the product value ratio. If the product also is ditto same, so your competitor is providing ditto same product, ditto same price, ditto same value, you move on to the third stage, which is service value ratio, which means that, you see, because at the end of the day, it is two people who are talking to each other. It is never two products talking to each other. So it's not that your master batch is talking to the extruder of your company. There is a purchase manager there. There is a CEO there who is talking to you as a sales manager. So I have always found that whenever my price value ratio does not work, whenever my product value ratio does not work, I use my third trump card, which is the service value ratio. What is service value ratio? I am trying to give a better value to the customer by virtue of the better service that I can provide. Now, let me give you an example. Let's assume, and let me take an example of master batch industry again, because most of you are from master batch today. So if I talk about a company who buys around 5 tons of master batch, color master batch every month. Now, normally they buy 5 tons of color master batch in one go because the transport cost has to be optimized and you are not ready to supply him less than 5 tons in one go because that is what your transport capacity is. Now you want to improve the service value ratio because you see, if someone is using 5 tons in a month, then on an average 1.25 tons consumption is there in a week. Now, when I pick up 5 tons of material in a month, my payment cycle for the 5 tons of raw material starts on the day that I have received the goods. But there is a gap between the day I receive the goods and the day I make use of the goods. So instead of supplying 5 tons in one go, can we supply 1.25 tons every week? If yes, then that becomes a service value ratio because you have now helped him in his supply chain management and you have also helped the customer in his cash flow analysis. Now, this is a typical example of service value ratio. While I am not saying that this is the only solution because there are certain scenarios where doing this will not be helpful. because if distances are high, your company may not allow you to sell only 1.25 tons, but this is just an example. So you can provide an incremental service to the customer by supply chain management, or you can provide an incremental service to the customer by requesting the customer that can I make use of my technical department to conduct an kind of audit for your factory. And this normally happens when the manufacturer is a big company and the supplier or the buyer is a relatively smaller company. So I can always address a smaller company and say that, hey, can I send my R&D person to conduct a half-day audit of your factory, so that if you implement the recommendations of my specialist, then it will improve your overall productivity. It will give you better elongation. It will give you better strength. Now, these are typical examples of service value ratio, where you make use of service as a bridge to enter the hearts of the customer. So I spoke to you about 3 ratios. The first ratio was price value, second ratio was product value, and third ratio is service value. Can you quickly go to the chat box and can you write for me price value, product value, service value? Please write on the chat box so that I know for sure that you have understood what I'm trying to say. Just write price value, product value, service value. Yes. Price, product, and service value. Fantastic. Fantastic. So Amravati management is very fast. Abhishek, thank you so much. So if you have understood how to make use of the 3 ratios, does it give you a confidence that if you now go back to any of your old customers and try to regain your old customers, you have 3 different approaches to talk to the customer? Does it give you the confidence? So can you go to the chat box and write for me that by making use of this tool, what percentage of your customer can you regain? Just make a fair assumption. What percentage of your customers can you regain by making use of these 3 ratios? Yes, I'm looking at your responses. Yes, I put the chat box. Okay, Sanjay Agrawal says 20%, Abhishek 60%. All right, fantastic. Very good. All right, wonderful. Survey says 40, Ayush 30, Amravati Management Association 25. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. So Amravati Management Association, how many people are participating in today's webinar from your association? Can you please put that number? 6. All right, thank you. So what we are trying to look at, you can see there's a difference, right? Some of you feel 20%, some of you feel 60%. So let me tell you that by making use of this, whenever you're trying to regain old customers, you will never be able to regain more than 20% customers in one go, right? You cannot regain more than 20% in one go. So don't feel frustrated. If you are trying to regain 50 customers, and if you're able to regain 10 customers, feel happy. Pat yourself on your back. You have done a wonderful job, because all lost customers will not come back to you on the same day, right? So they will also take time. अभी रूठ गए हैं तो मनाने में थोड़ा उनको भी समय लगेगा. So 20% capping is good. So Abhishek, Sarvesh, 60-40 is a very high target. Don't look beyond 20%. If you're able to get 20% regain of lost customers, that's a good achievement. And you can take such targets every quarter. So if you're able to do 20% regain every quarter, then in 4 quarters, mathematically, you'll be able to regain 80% of your lost customers. 20% of your lost customers are permanently lost. You cannot get them back. And that's a broad rule. So what I'm trying to say here is do not try to look at more than 20% regain right in the first go. All right, so at this juncture, we have 20 more minutes left, for 14 minutes actually. So there is this concept of CLTV, and CLTV stands for Customer Lifetime Value. And what the statement says is if you don't have some type of lifetime value calculation, even at a broad level, it will soon be impossible to compete. So what I'm trying to say here is that it's good for a company to understand the concept of lifetime value. So many times when you lose a customer, you actually don't look at lifetime value. You just look at the transaction value. You will never lose a customer very easily if you understand the concept of CLTV, customer lifetime value. Because if you know that this customer has got a lifetime value of 1 crore, and because of some 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 rupees, you're trying to lose a customer, I'm sure you will make a much more informed decision when you take the CLTV approach. So just go to the chat box and write for me, how many of you have heard of CLTV before? Yes, say yes or no. How many of you have heard of CLTV, customer lifetime value, before? Okay, Ayush says no. No, 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 no. All right. None of you have heard of it. Aha. So that could be a reason that you lose your customers so easily, my friends. So let me quickly show you what is lifetime value. See, if you analyze your customers, you will find that 60% of your customers are profitable. 20% of your customers are non-profitable, and another 20% of your customers are extremely profitable. So this is like very profitable, this is like okay profitable, and this is like non-profitable. And this is the curve on the basis of which the CLTV calculation is done. These are some of the various methods through which CLV is calculated. So there's a historical customer lifetime value method, there's a predictive method, there's a lifespan, there's something called cohort analysis. There are 5 methods to calculate customer lifetime value. Today, we are not talking about these methods. That's not within the syllabus of today's program. But I'm just trying to educate you that if you Google these methods, it will tell you how to calculate the customer lifetime value. Let's look at a mathematical formula for calculating customer lifetime value. So first of all, we have to calculate LTV, which stands for lifetime value. And what is lifetime value? Lifetime value is average value of sale. यानी on an average एक आदमी कितने लाख का माल खरीदता है, multiplied by number of transactions. यानी how many times or what is the frequency of transaction of a particular customer, multiplied by retention time period. So मान लीजिए कि एक ग्राहक है, there is one particular customer whose average value of sale is 5 lakhs per month, and he has already done 25 transactions with you in his lifetime, and he has done his life with you is around 2 years. So 24 multiplied by 25 multiplied by 5 lakhs, that gives you LTV. And then if you come to the next step, CLTV or customer lifetime value is equivalent to lifetime value multiplied by profit margin. Right? Not very difficult, right? Not very difficult at all. So lifetime value of a customer equivalent to average value of sale multiplied by number of transactions multiplied by retention time period. And CLV is equivalent to LTV multiplied by profit margin. I'm sure when you look at it from your own perspective, you will have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. Now, if you look at this weighing balance on your screen, there are 2 concepts. One is the customer acquisition cost. Customer acquisition cost. And second is customer lifetime value. Now, when you are on the brink of losing a customer, you always have to ensure that your customer acquisition cost never becomes higher than your customer lifetime value. क्योंकि अगर एक ग्राहक को एक्वायर करने की कीमत 1 लाख रुपए है और आपका CLV अगर सिर्फ 80,000 है, so then it doesn't make mathematical sense to regain the lost customers. Then you might as well lose him. So it is always said that if you want to be successful in your enterprise, you should never allow your customer acquisition cost to go higher than your customer lifetime value. Now that's a bit of mathematics, and I'm sure if you go deeper into it, you will understand. I just want to quickly go to the chat box and ask you this question. How many of you understand CAC and CLV now? CAC and CLV. How many of you understand now? Yes or no? CAC is customer acquisition cost and CLV is customer lifetime value. All right, fantastic. Ayush says I got little bit, यानी थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ में आया. Okay. So Ayush, can you please write what exactly you didn't understand there? So CAC is customer acquisition cost, the cost of acquiring a new customer. And CLV is the lifetime value of a customer who has already been acquired. So if the lifetime value of a customer is lower than your CAC, then why will you retain an old customer? You will keep on, acquiring new customers. All right, very good. So I get a yes from Amravati Association. And what about others? I don't see any response from others. Okay, Sarvesh says yes. Abhishek says got it. Okay. Ayush says I understand. Jahir, yes. Okay, thank you. So if you have understood, you should also understand this last slide that I want to show you. You see on the screen, I'm showing you percentages on the left-hand side. You cannot win back old customers. So it is very difficult for an organization to win back old customers if they do not have a process for identifying customers who have defected. अगर आपके कंपनी में कोई भी ऐसी विधि नहीं है जिससे आप आपके जो लॉस्ट कस्टमर्स हैं उनको समय पे आइडेंटिफाई कर सको, तो your chances of winning back your lost customer is as high as, as bad as 71%, which means that your chances is only 29%. Similarly, if you do not know how many customers they lose each year, I know a lot of companies who do not have an idea कि कितने customers का loss हुआ. And जब मैं उनसे पूछता हूँ तो बोलते नहीं ये लॉस नहीं है, ये तो हमने खुद ही उनसे मना कर दिया because हमें नहीं करना था business. We ourselves were not very keen on doing business with so and so person, so I don't take it as a loss. ये तो मैंने मना किया. Well, आपने मना किया या किसी और ने मना किया, loss is a loss. 68% have no people who do not have any process for identifying customers at high risk of defection. They cannot win back their old customers, which means that defection के बाद में identify किया तो क्या कर लोगे? क्योंकि a customer before leaving you gives you enough number of signals, and normally I have seen that sales managers do not take those signals seriously. Sometimes the sales manager doesn't take it seriously. Sometimes the owner doesn't take it seriously. And most of the time, the owner doesn't take it seriously because the sales manager has not been able to escalate the matter with the right kind of urgency that it deserves. And there can be a debate on this, but if you are able to escalate your matter with the right kind of trade-off analysis, if you are able to show to your management that what is the overall loss by losing this customer, I'm sure you will be able to minimize such losses. 60% do not conduct interviews with lost customers. Now, this is again a big pain point in the industry. Customer lose हो गया, तो हम उसको एक बुरा सपना समझ के भूल जाना चाहते हैं. We just want to forget that customer as if he was a bad dream. Why? ठीक है, you have lost the customer, but then every time you lose a customer, it's like a gift because the customer will teach you so many things. It's a very good habit for management to go at the highest level and interact with the customer. You tell the customer at the first point that, sir, we have not come that you should bring your business back. We have come to understand, we have come to learn as to why we lost you. हम क्या अच्छा कर सकते थे आपको रखने के लिए. ऐसे इंटरव्यूज अगर आप कंडक्ट करना चालू करें at the senior most level, and normally I always advise that whenever you lose a big customer, your factory head should go and meet the lost customer because he knows exactly where the production could have been improved not to lose the customer. Now, this is all purely management and administrative, so I cannot dictate, but I always say that people at the highest level should go and conduct exit interviews with lost customers. If you don't do it, then there is a 60% chance that you cannot win back those customers. And last point, do not know how many lost customers they successfully win back last year. So हर साल आप कितने प्रतिशत lost customer को regain करते हैं? If you do not know this number, then again there is a 77% chance that you cannot win back old customers. So if you see on this screen, what I'm trying to show is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are 5 best practices. If your company has got these 5 best practices, it is very easy to win back lost customers. So am I saying that if you have these best practices, you will not lose customers? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if you have these 5 best practices, then it will always be very easy for you to win back lost customers. So having said that, towards the end of the program, this is my favorite dialogue. You win some, that's win, it's not will. Win, that's a spelling mistake. So you win, oh sorry, that's correct. You will lose some and you will win some. आप कितनी भी थ्योरी लगा लीजिए, आप कितने भी 30 मार्क का हो जाइए, you are not going to regain all your old customers. As I told you, 20% is the cap. So you will lose some, you will win some. But you will win back some. बहुत पूरी sales journey छुपी है इसमें. So you will lose some customers, you will win some customers at the time of selling, but you will win back some customers at the time of regaining. If you know your numbers well, and if you know your percentages well, then I'm sure this entire theory of regaining old customers will be very much under your control. So on that note, we are sitting at 4:59 right now, and ladies and gentlemen, we come towards the end of today's program on regaining old customers. All right. There is a feedback form which has been shared on the chat box by Charles, my colleague. I request all of you to please go to the feedback form and give your feedback, because on the basis of your feedback, we know what more programs to curate in the future. And we also understand as to what is it that interests you and what is it that does not interest you. All right, good. So there's a question from Zahir who says that, can we get this slide? I think every sales ki Pathshala, we share the slide with you.